Yo, what is going on YouTube? This is Josh over here at American AF Dumpster Rentals in Dallas. And today is Friday, March 6th, and we're actually going to drop this video today because I feel like it's important to talk about like the current economy, the current situation we're in live today right away. We are now going on day 7 of a conflict or a war with Iran. A lot of people have reached out to me asking what we're going to do. They saw my video about being in war with Iran and, how much should they charge or what am I charging, as if our numbers are the same. One thing that we really have to understand for a lot of guys that are new, and this is not for a lot of you guys that have been in business for a long time, you guys might want to just keep scrolling, but a lot of the new guys that watch this channel understand that just your numbers are not going to be the same as my numbers, and my numbers not going to be the same as your neighbor or even my own competitors down the street. They're not the same. So you have to know your numbers. For years, I've always said know your numbers, but I haven't been able to show exactly how to look at your numbers or exactly how to figure out your numbers. It's really easy for somebody online to just say, oh, I can make $1 million or I can profit, 25, 30% or 10% or whatever it may be. And then when you ask them how, they're just like, well, you got to know your numbers. Well, I don't like that. And I've never liked that. So how do you know your numbers? How do you take what you do and really find out the actual profit margins, how much you're actually profiting per dumpster, how much each dumpster is bringing you in, what is it actually costing you to deliver that dumpster all in, if prices rise as far as fuel, how much are you going to lose if you don't do anything? And if you do want to do something, if you do want to change your pricing, what or how much should you increase your pricing in order to cover the rise of fuel? Just driving this morning, and I'm not trying to fear monger anybody. First of all, I'm not selling you anything. Let's get that started and out of the way right now. I have never sold a product anybody on this channel unless somebody wants a hat or something like that. But what I do though is I host a show once a year, usually in October or November, and I try to provide as much value as I possibly can for as little of a ticket as I possibly can. Same thing with these newsletters. I mean, we're started out a newsletter. We provided the DUEM calendar, the DUEM calculator, the DUEM dumpster unit economics model calculator. I wish I would have came up with an easier name to remember or to say. That calculator is really good to find out your numbers. You can plug in basically your numbers that you have from hopefully your operating software, and then your maybe QuickBooks, or if you have a bookkeeper or an accountant do your numbers, you can plug in those numbers as far as, or you just know it, like what your loans are. And this is monthly, right? Your fixed costs per month, and then your variable costs per month, and then it spits out where you're at, if you're in a good position as far as profit margins are concerned, whether you're under. Sometimes there's some guys that have reached out to me too, and they're like, dude, I use your calculator and it shows I'm negative every dumpster I rent. And that really makes sense. That's why I keep plugging more cash into the business. It's a cash cow. I keep plugging more and more cash in it. Where you might be debt heavy, or you might be over leveraged. You might not be charging enough. A lot of you guys, we all know people that aren't charging enough, right? It's those guys that we see on Facebook and those guys that we see on Craigslist or whatever that are, advertising, or even locally here. I got a guy who does unlimited tonnage on a 30 yard for $550. Are you kidding? I charge more than that, sometimes just on a haul rate. If you don't know your numbers, it's an easy way to get yourself out of business and go bankrupt. And that's why you see a lot of guys closing up shop, especially when the times get rough in the wintertime. We all see it. The equipment goes up for sale. People wanted to charge the least that they could just so they can come in and underbid and undercut everybody so they can get the business, but they don't realize they're doing themselves a disservice, because at the end of the day, they're losing money every single time their truck rolls and they deliver a dumpster. So I've created a couple of tools. One's called the DUEM calculator. I keep calling it calendar. The DUEM, dumpster units economic model, and that one is going to be more in depth, right? That's going to be a big one. That one will tell you, again, if you add more dumpsters to your fleet, what is that going to do to your bottom line? How much is that going to increase your revenue? Hopefully your profits and stuff like that. What if fuel goes up? This I created before the war. I even have a video where it hasn't even dropped yet. We're so far behind on videos right now that, I have one where I talked about, well, you can use this calculator if the U.S. ends up going to war and strikes Iran. Well, I mean, now we're on day 7 of that, and it's happening. Fuel is going up. For a lot of you guys that don't believe that's going to happen, whatever. Maybe, again, I'm not trying to fearmonger anybody, but fuel is going up. There's no question about it. Some guys think it's a noble thing not to raise prices, and they just want to eat the cost themselves. And it's not a thing of who's running their business better. It's not an ego thing. Check your ego at the door, or like I said, keep on scrolling. It is more of a, how do we survive in this type of economy? How do we survive in this current situation that we're in? Are you profitable? Are you even able to eat the cost of extra fuel, or were your numbers, or were your what you're charged currently, is that, do you have enough room in there in order to absorb those costs? And so some of us, you charge more than enough and you're just fine, and you want to absorb it, that's fine. Again, it's not an ego thing. It's not the noble thing. It's just business. Your numbers are different than the other guy's numbers, are different than my numbers, are different than that guy's numbers. It's just business. So try to understand that everybody runs their business different ways, and there's nothing wrong with a company either deciding that, hey, it's time to raise our rates because of the situation that we're in. I don't have enough margins built into my pricing to be able to afford a $1 increase in diesel. And it's only, again, today's day 7, right? We're already seeing over $1 here in the DFW area at certain gas stations. The one literally right down the street from my office right here, they have posted diesel at $4.99. We don't go there, but they have diesel posted at $4.99, which a week ago it was like $3.60-ish. And we're only on day 7. Does that mean that I have to add a fuel surcharge? I am. I'm not going to absorb that extra cost. I'm not going to absorb that extra $17 to $20 per dumpster rental extra it's going to cost me to deliver a dumpster. Again, my margins are different than yours. My travel area is different than yours. My, from here, we have pretty much an hour radius for the most part north. So I spend a lot more on fuel. I've said it before, we're on the outskirts. We're not even on the outskirts of Dallas. We're on the outskirts of DFW. So to go from Waxahachie to North Dallas to Fort Worth to Arlington to Irving to HEB to any of those other places is going to take me over an hour sometimes, especially with traffic. And if you calculate that times 3 or 4, depending on, if you're going to, deliver, then go to the next location, then go back there again to pick up, dump it, that's basically 4 trips for the most part. Our fuel expenses are very high. Yeah, me personally, I am doing a fuel surcharge. You have 2 different options in the Hauler HQ calculator. Again, there's two calculators. One is a Duum calculator. That's your business, really in depth. And then your second one is your Hauler IQ, which is what it's basically just fuel and your profit margins and stuff like that. You have 2 different ways to enter in your numbers, right? If you know your numbers roughly and you just want to check real quick, it'll ask you, let me pull it up real quick. So the Hauler IQ, on the left side, you'll see the view mode. You can do a company-wide, or you can do individually by size. I only have 15s, 20s, 30s, and 40s because that's what I use. Again, this is not made for sale. This is not made for, this is what I put together to help me understand my numbers, and I'm just releasing it to you guys so you guys can see it as well. So if you don't have those sizes and you have other sizes, I'm sorry, but that's just the way I did it for myself and my company. So that's also why I did a company-wide. Take your company-wide average and plug it in, and that's more than enough. This is not a replacement for your accountant or your bookkeeper. I'm sure they'll give you, and they're able to give you a lot more in-depth, exact numbers. But your averages right here, your averages is the average dumpster rental for, I plugged in my entire year. So I plugged in, you can use your entire year as 2025 if you have those numbers already, or you can just use January and February. You can use February. It doesn't matter. Plug it in for a month even. So my average dumpster rental, I'm not going to say what it is, but it's a lot. It's more than $450, right? So even though a dumpster may cost $450, let's say you're doing it by dumpster size or whatever, that's not your rental price. It's your average all in. So any overages, tonnages, all that stuff. So real simple to do real quick math. If you wanted to just plug in last year's numbers, take all your revenue that you did last year and divide it by the number of dumpster rentals that you did last year, or just last month's numbers. Your average miles per haul, this comes a default was with 30. I'm way more than that. I am probably going to be in about 100 miles, give or take, per haul. Just really depends on your coverage area, right? Diesel prices today, it comes in pre-filled out at 350. A lot of you guys in California, that may be a heck of a lot less. This is where we were about a week ago. So it kind of shows me about a week ago, based on last week's numbers, where I was, and then what is a price increase of anywhere from a quarter to $3 is going to do to my profit margins. Then you're going to see the landfill costs, how much you can do a flat haul or a flat rate per haul or per tonnage. I've got my numbers based off my software. I can easily see what my average haul, my average landfill cost is going to be. Again, pre-filled in with 95. These are nobody's numbers, by the way. This is just how the calculator pre-filled it in. And then average tonnage per haul. That's actually right for me. Around 2.5 tons per haul is average tonnage. Again, these are the minimum numbers you need to know in order to make this calculator work for you. And then it says fuel shock simulator. This is where you're going to see the numbers. Current diesel price. Again, current diesel price as of today. You take that same number that you did up top or whatever. It's already pre-filled in. And I want it to shock me to see what a 50-cent increase is going to do. So it already shows what 50-cent increase at about 100 hauls per month. So it shows me, based off these numbers right here, that I'm doing $260 profit per haul on a $450 haul rate. And it's costing me about $190. So $260 per haul. If a 50-cent increase in fuel, it's going to take me from $15 a haul to $17.14 a haul. So it takes my profit from $260 to $257. So it only drops down $2.14. It recommends a buffer of about $5 per haul to raise your price or to cover your extra fuel. It's not going to cover the entire $350 plus $50. It's not going to cover the entire $4. This $2.14 per haul is basically covering the difference of your $350 where the price was today to the extra 50 cents. So it's basically covering just the extra 50 cents, right? If you do nothing, you're going to lose about $214 per month. That's over 100 hauls, or $2,500, almost $2,600 lost over the year at 1,200 hauls, right? And then it breaks it down a little bit more, what your costs are. And then down here to the far right, you can save the scenario, 50 cents. You can save it to whatever you want if you want to save it. And then it also does, it's kind of cool, the fuel surcharge. If you wanted to do a fuel surcharge, it's got a couple little scripts on what you can put on your website, what you can put on emails or your invoices as far as why you're charging an extra fuel surcharge. Over here on the left, there's an advanced mode. So basically the advanced mode will ask you more details about how to calculate this for you. So it'll ask you what your average truck miles per gallon is, what your average driver charge is per hour, your cost for your drivers, your minutes, how long does it actually take you per haul. And remember, that's all together. That's not just delivery. That's your entire, from pickup to final drop off, one complete job, right? How much you want to include as far as maintenance is concerned per mile, and then your insurance per haul. And simple, again, take your insurance of last year and divide it by the number of hauls that you had. It's not that difficult. And then any extra fees that you want to include. If you want to highlight over the question marks, you'll be able to see what it actually means. What they want you to plug in. And then once it's got all that information, it's going to have a higher confidence score to be able to spit out a better number for you. So again, this is the Hauler IQ. This is the right now tool calculator that I suggest that you guys look at to really, really, really dial in your numbers. Based off of my numbers. And again, I've got a lot more expenses. I've got a lot more overhead than a lot of people, and I've got a lot less than a lot of people as well. Not every company is the same. But based off of my numbers, this calculator suggested that I raise my prices about $17 to $18 per haul. And that was at $1 increase. So imagine at $1.50. So right now so if I click from 50 cents to $1, that took my profit from $260 per haul to $255. I just lost $5 basically per haul. I just lost $5,000 a year based off of $1 increase. We're already seeing that dollar increase in fuel, and it's only been a week. It's not even summertime fuel yet. They're putting in the summertime fuel blend now, but $1.50 is going to run me an extra $7,700 a year. Let's say we jump up to $2, which would be crazy. It's going to cost me an extra $10,000 per year that we lose in our bottom line. A lot of us are operating lean and mean. Can you afford an extra $10,000 coming out of your business? That's up to you. That's only a decision you can make. And for all you guys, again, don't be judgmental of other businesses. Like if somebody has to do something in their business in order to make it, you don't know their situation. You don't know what they're doing. A lot of us, we're using this business to fund other businesses or real estate projects, or, we've got more family members we have to take care of. So hopefully this calculator works for you guys. Check it out, play with it. Again, it's free. All I ask is that it does have an email gate so we know who's using it, and then you get automatically enrolled into our newsletter. But our newsletter, again, is also free. Our newsletter, we're dropping some really, really, really good stuff. So keep an eye out for that newsletter. We're going to do it maybe once or twice a month. Look forward to you guys. If you guys like this video, make sure you guys like, subscribe, smash the notification bell. If you use this tool, please put it in the comments below. Just a little bit of comments, or what did it show for you? And let's help the algorithm so that this tool can help other people out as well in their businesses.